Right, Joe, I know how pleased you were with the actual performance last week, but this represents an opportunity to bounce back in terms of the result.
I mean, I wasn't entirely pleased with it. There was elements of it I was pleased with. I was more pleased with the attitude, the attitude of our players, but also, the attitude of the fans. Thought, it was markedly different from, times of struggle. Certainly in the early part of my tenure here, and I felt you could really feel everyone together. We've had really good week of training, and keen to get back in our stadium in front of our fans and put right the disappointment of last week.
Players coming back from suspension and from injury finally presents you with a bit of a headache in terms of team selection?
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, we really had everyone who was available playing last week. But again, they're starting to come back. You start to see lads on the edge of that in the round who are doing a bit of grass work now with the first phase of their rehabilitation underway. So yeah, really good feel around the building. Surprisingly, considering we conceded 6 goals at home, and we know we've got a tough game with Aki coming up. But again, looking forward to getting in our stadium and putting right some of the wrongs last week. And
Joey Barton, the player, back on the training pitch this week.
A shadow of the former player. Yeah, just joined in this week. Really enjoyed it actually. It's amazing what perspective you get from being in there with the lads, and you realise just how fat and old you've got when you're in amongst them young whippersnappers. So yeah, really enjoying being back out there. Although my body is saying otherwise.
What should we expect from Accrington on Saturday, Joe?
I think with John Coleman, honestly, I think they've got probably one of the most underrated managers in the football pyramid. I mean, I know Jimmy and John really well, but the job John's done at Accrington is a minor miracle, to keep them punching above the weight, in the midst of the turnover of players and selling players at a profit to clubs, who have got deeper pockets than them. And every year, consistently, they put a really good side out. They always try and play the right way. And I was laughing with the staff in there. I said, John Coleman is, as I say, world class at 2 things. He really is. His recruitment of players is world class. I mean, seeing Derby name a manager there, and I just think if Coley had the resources of a big side in the division, it'd be interesting to see what he would do. And the other part he's world class at is at the gamesmanship and the team, managing referees, managing officials, but also the way his teams do. And I think that's a real skill, and there's a real skill set in that. And he's a wily old fox, John, and as I say, got nothing but the greatest respect for him and his coaching team there, Jimmy Bell and John Doolan, and looking forward to the game on Saturday.
Just finally, just ask you about a new contract this week for Sam Finley.
Yeah, obviously Sam was a player who was a huge part of our promotion push last year, and we're keen to get our best players tied down so that we get some continuity and we can start to build the next phase of this football team. And as I say, securing Evo in the summer and getting James Connolly to come back, and Belly last year we tied him down. Obviously Azad is another one tied down to a longer kind of deal, and not only the players we've recruited this summer, but it was also very important that we kept continuity of the group from last year. Kuti and those boys come back on kind of year-long contracts, but Sam we felt was somebody that we could certainly benefit from having in the building for the next couple of years, and I think his performances on the pitch for us, I think he was deserving of a bit of security for himself and his family.